All right, let's talk about a real superpower in the world of software development. It's something that separates good teams from great ones, but it's often overlooked. I'm talking about the huge difference between an incident and a problem. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Aren't they kind of the same thing? Well, no. And understanding why is the secret sauce to building software that doesn't just work, but lasts. You ready to dive in? Let's do it.
So, let me ask you something, and I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. Have you ever felt like you're playing a losing game of whack-a-mole with bugs? You know the feeling, right? You fix something, you ship it, and then, boom. A few weeks later, it's back. The exact same issue, maybe in a slightly different disguise. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and it feels like you're going nowhere. Well, today we're going to talk about how to stop playing that game and actually win.
Yeah, that whole whack-a-mole thing, it's the perfect lead-in to this first section. Let's call it a bug that won't die. Because we've all been there. You're looking at a bug report and get that sinking feeling, that little bit of déjà vu. You're thinking, wait a minute, didn't we just fix this? And look, this isn't some abstract concept. This is real life. It's that production login page that just decides to stop working right when you have the most traffic. It's those Selenium tests that fail for no reason, making your CI/CD pipeline feel more like a roll of the dice. Or how about that one UI bug that keeps popping up in every single sprint? Meanwhile, your support team, they're basically firefighters, just putting out the same fire over and over with temporary workarounds. But here's the thing. All of that, it's just the smoke. We're not even looking at the fire yet. So what do we do when we see that smoke? Well, our first instinct is to react, right? We jump into action. And that reaction, that's called incident management. It's the first half of our superpower, the quick fix. You know, a great way to think about this is like a pipe bursting in your house. What's the very first thing you do? You're not going to start ripping up floorboards to find the source of the leak, are you? No way. You run, you grab the biggest bucket you can find, and you try to stop the water from ruining everything. That's an incident. And that's pretty much what the official definition says too. An incident is just any unplanned interruption that messes up your service. The two words you really want to lock onto are unplanned and immediate. It's all about one thing and one thing only. How fast can we get things back to normal? So, just to be super clear here, incident management is 100% reactive. The goal is not to find out why something broke. The goal is to get the lights back on, period. You're applying a patch, you're rebooting a server, you're putting the bucket under the leak, you're just buying time. But here's the catch. Buying time isn't a long-term plan, and that's where we pivot from the quick fix to the real fix. Let's talk about problem management. Okay, so let's go back to our leaky pipe. The bucket is catching the water, which is great. Service is restored, you could say, but the pipe, it's still broken. That is the problem. Problem management is figuring out why the pipe burst in the first place. It's calling the plumber. And again, the formal definition backs this up. A problem is the underlying root cause of one or more of those incidents. And suddenly the whole game changes. We're not worried about speed anymore. We're worried about making sure this never ever happens again. We're not just treating the symptom, we're curing the disease. Okay, this right here is your cheat sheet. This is the whole thing in a nutshell. An incident is about restoring service. A problem is about preventing it from happening again. Incidents are reactive. Problems are proactive. An incident buys you time. A problem, that buys you peace of mind. It's that simple. All right, so we get the theory, two different approaches. But how do they actually work together in the real world? How do you go from constant firefighting to a place of real, solid stability? Well, let's walk through a real-world example. Imagine you're on the Amazon team. Step 1, an incident. The login button freezes for a bunch of users. The on-call engineer jumps on it, reboots the server, whatever. A quick fix is applied, service restored. Shoo. But then, step 2, you see a pattern. A week later, it happens again. But this time, it's on Chrome, Firefox, and the mobile app. Okay, now this is more than just a random glitch. So, step 3, someone smart connects the dots between all the Jira tickets and declares a problem. A formal investigation kicks off, which leads to step 4, the permanent solution. The dev team does a deep dive and finds the root cause, some nasty async JavaScript bug. They deploy a real fix, and guess what? The incidents stop, like for good. So what can you start doing like tomorrow? Well, first off, you've got to start tracking these things. Look for patterns. And you know those flaky tests everyone complains about? Stop calling them flaky. Convert them into investigations. Your new mantra should be, fix the cause, not the symptom. And please, whatever you do, do not let anyone on your team say that repeated failures or flaky tests are just normal. They're not normal. They're a giant flashing red light telling you there's a deeper problem.
Okay, let's get you a few tools for your toolkit. These are super simple, actionable things you can use right away.
First up is my favorite. It's a dead simple rule of thumb that takes all the guesswork out of this. It's called the rule of 3. And it works exactly like it sounds. If you see the same failure happen 3 times, that's your signal. That's the trigger. You stop putting buckets under the leak. You declare it a problem, you create that ticket, and you sick your best people on finding and fixing the root cause. 3 strikes, you're not out. You're a problem. It's that easy. Now, you might be asking a couple of perfectly valid questions. First, hey, why don't we just treat every failure as a problem from the get-go? Well, because when production is on fire, your number one job is to put out the fire, not investigate how it started. You restore service first, you ask questions later. And the second question, so if this is all so simple, why do we even have flaky tests? And the answer is brutal but true. It's because we got addicted to incident management. We got so good at patching the symptoms that we forgot to ever go look for the disease. Look, if you forget everything else we talked about, please remember this one sentence. It's the key to the whole thing. An incident fixes today. A problem protects tomorrow. So let's wrap this up. The real superpower we've been talking about. It's not about being the fastest bug fixer. It's about building a system to eliminate root causes entirely. It's about turning that constant, chaotic firefighting into predictable stability. It's about protecting your users from problems they never even knew existed. That, right there, is how you build truly great, scalable software. So I'll leave you with this. Are you going to keep running for more buckets? Or are you ready to pick up the phone and call the